Yes.
And you know, I try to get to it. It's a whole new different world.
Well, like, this year's gonna be weird. We said like,
Kind of like you upgraded the central learning.
yeah. Well, I got into Texas Access.
Yeah, the Nexus.
I got my
You know what? I've never been to one of Texas. I know it's been on the whenever you don't have a partner, go to home.
Yeah. Dude, last year, precincts match 5 matches. Retail match. Man,
He went to LSU for 1 year, and he's an LSU fan. So I never got to college till I went on Saturdays to the party. That was the shit. Yes. Because I was in new shoes. I opened up both of them.
the one time, the one time. Well, like,
And
2 years ago, my son was like 1 year ago. It was when they renamed the stadium from
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I just bought. And that was my birthday when we retired from jiu-jitsu. I was on the field with him and
Wow.
I'm gonna be honest. See, that's the first time.
Show up and do more.
That's always been my problem that oh really? Wow. So when
No, I mean, it goes fast. Like I did in Mexico, USA.
Oh, you should. You're at Ryan College Station. Brazil, Mexico. That we had our trail park next to the end zone. And they threw a piece of that.
Yeah, especially after this.
I get it.
Yeah, I know the one.
Right?
I shot the bonfire. It was really nice. Really cool stuff.
But it was about 10 years, right? Because
Yeah.
I remember that, yeah, they told me they're going back to start one sec, right?
Yeah, it sucks because it should have been faster.
And then now it's you, Texas, and LSU. And then
But it should have been Texas, but that's not.
this one? That's a piece. Yeah, that one I had like
it's the Texas shoe.
I don't know, and I cut it. It was
Hopefully,
awful.
What is it? Red Rover shoe? Texas shoe.
Yeah.
And then there was one more.
Well, I gave it a shake.
Texas Tech.
That's where I sit there. I'll sit there and then sometimes now it just makes it. And then nice. And then the summer too. I get shade near
You come, he's like, dude,
That's why I keep touching it.
yeah, you're right. That and showing up with the show.
Yeah.
Actually, we were there for both of them. The Portland, not the. I was there every Friday except the first week.
Yeah, I want to
But that's something actually.
I could have seen it's you and then put it
They
there.
go for it. Yeah, Jason had me about like 6 months.
Stop. And then put it like 2 I would.
Oh, you can put it there.
Yeah, I need one more.
How you doing?
So yeah. Yeah. I can do that.
I tried to trip.
Yeah, the sauce sticking to me now.
I tried to trip.
I don't like it.
I don't want
Because it's in, I mean,
look at some of the David for first year now, they pay this insane amount.
then I think
It was just at level. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's-
more than one. It was brought for one reason.
Now I think. So they're all trying to crash out.
The best thing was when we had Frank Kelsey. He was a friend of Charlie Sheen. Now we run.
Funny looking for that was here yesterday.
red, white explanation. Yeah, cool. Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We wanted to highlight a case from over the weekend that came into us over the weekend. Let me start out by playing you some video here. Obviously, we'll send you this video to your desks as well. This is Rene Caballero. He's 40 years of age. We booked him over the course of the weekend for sexual assault of a child. The reason that we're publicizing this, of course, is we always do this in instances where it's possible that there may be other victims out there. So what we know about Rene Caballero is that he actually runs a martial arts school. He's a jiu-jitsu instructor. And unfortunately, that is how we understand he came to know the victim in this case. So the victim in this case is a 14-year-old little girl that came forward to her family members and outcried that late 2023, October to December of 2023, while she was a student at that school, she actually came into contact with Caballero. And over the course of several months, several weeks, he engaged in what we know to be grooming type behavior. So the young girl had been involved in a relationship with another young person, also involved with the school. When that relationship ended, she began to get anonymous notes placed in a cubby there at the school. And as it turned out, these anonymous notes were from Joseph Caballero, kind of secret admirer type, very much trying to establish a courtship with her. Unfortunately, they did become involved, and this suspect sexually assaulted that victim at least several times during the course of those couple of weeks. The young lady came forward to her family members and let them know what was going on. Obviously, the family members called us out to a home in West Bexar County where we took the report. Our child safe investigators did a great job putting the case together and putting Mr. Caballero behind bars where he belongs. So obviously, our goal with putting out this information is to ask if anybody knows of any other victims, certainly anybody that may be involved with this martial arts school. Please give us a call, 210-335-6000. You can also send us an email at bcsotips@bear.org. Este sospechoso, René Caballero, 40 años de edad, es un instructor de jiu-jitsu. Se aparenta que la víctima, una niña de 14 años de edad, era estudiante en la escuela del sospechoso. En octubre hasta diciembre del año pasado, ella estuvo involucrada en relaciones con este sospechoso. Se aparenta que la niña estaba involucrada con otro joven en esa escuela. Cuando esas relaciones pararon, ella reporta que alguien le estaba dejando notas en su área donde ella puede recibir mensajes. Se aparenta que las notas esas fueron dejadas por este sospechoso. Él sí abusó sexualmente de esta niña varias veces, entonces ya después de unos cuantos meses ella le dio la queja a un familiar. Afortunadamente la familiar nos llamó a nosotros y este fin de semana sí tuvimos éxito en arrestar al sospechoso. Ahorita se enfrenta con cargos por asalto sexual contra un menor de edad. Y él ahorita, pues no se sabe si todavía está en la cárcel, pero este fin de semana sí se enfrentó con esos cargos. And let me clarify on his name. It's Joseph René Caballero. I'll open it up to whatever questions you might have.
¿En dónde se encuentra esta escuela de artes?
Está por 7600 Culebra. Y sí se aparenta que hay varios estudiantes de esta escuela. Esta escuela ha tenido éxito en el negocio y pues a causa de eso tienen muchos estudiantes. Entonces para nosotros es posible que hay otras víctimas más allá y quisiéramos que nos hablen. The school is actually in the 7600 block of Culebra, and my understanding is that it's a pretty successful school. There are a lot of students, so in other words, there's a lot of opportunities there for somebody like Mr. Caballero to have victimized other children. And so while it's entirely possible this is an isolated incident, it's also entirely possible that there are other victims out there. And so again, we're asking anybody with information to give us a call.
¿Han podido hablar con otros padres de esta escuela? ¿Les han notificado qué ha pasado?
Bueno, nosotros, eso es parte de la investigación donde nosotros quisiéramos hablar con otros padres, especialmente los que ellos tienen, sospechan que hay algo con otras víctimas, que por favor nos hablen los 2 días, 3, 5, 6 mil.
¿Él era el único instructor o había más?
Pienso que hay otros, pero ahorita es el único que tenemos bajo investigación.
Sheriff, just going through the initial jail view over on Tyler Technologies, it says that he was released on bond. Has he been released on bond?
We believe he's made bond. We arrested him on Saturday, and so it's possible he's bonded out at this point.
What was the bond at the time? Do we know?
I don't know what the bond is. We'd have to get you that information.
Was he owner or instructor?
My understanding is he's the owner. Yes, sir.
Have you had any other people call in?
To my knowledge, we have not. But again, in these instances, it took this young lady a while to get the courage up to make the report. And so is it possible that there are other victims out there that just haven't had the courage to come forward yet? Absolutely. But that's why we would encourage any parents that are associated with this to please have that talk with their child. And even if the child denies it at first, but if they feel like there may be something more, give us a call and let us handle talking to them. We've got people that are experts in that field in conducting what we call forensic interviews with these children, and we can try to determine if there are other victims out there.
¿Saben desde cuándo está abierta esta escuela?
No sé desde cuándo está abierta, pero sí le podemos dar esa información. Nosotros pensamos que es posible que hay otras víctimas, pero ya sabemos que como esta niña se tomó su tiempo para dar la queja, muchas veces estas víctimas no se sienten confortables dando la información esa. Entonces, si hay padres que tienen estudiantes en esta escuela, por favor hablen con sus hijos, pero si aunque les digan que no, si uno como padre siente como que hay algo allí, nos pueden llamar a nosotros, darnos la queja, y luego de ahí nosotros nos encargamos de dejar un experto que hable con el niño.
¿Dices que tienes un equipo específico para eso?
Sí tenemos un equipo en el edificio Child Safe, donde ellos de eso se encargan, investigar delitos contra los niños. Entonces nosotros tenemos expertos ahí que pueden hablar con los niños con calma para poder averiguar si hay otras víctimas. Si un padre piensa que hay problemas, nos pueden llamar a nosotros.
¿Qué tanto tiempo duró la relación?
¿Mande?
¿Qué tanto tiempo lo estaba usando la niña?
Varios meses. Ella era estudiante por varios meses.
Sheriff, ¿lo pescaron sin incidentes?
Sí, él ya cuando nosotros lo pescamos, él solamente nos dijo que sabía por qué lo estábamos arrestando, ni nos preguntó nada, ni nos hizo preguntas.
Sheriff, do you mind summarizing that for us real fast? I'm so sorry.
Which part?
Kind of all of it. Basically, could you repeat it? Could you repeat it in
The whole
English?
thing, or what I just said to him?
The whole thing.
Oh, the whole thing. Okay. So what I can tell you is that over the course of the weekend, we placed this suspect under arrest, Joseph Rene Caballero. He is 40 years of age. He is the owner and an employee of this exception squad. It's a martial arts school, jiu-jitsu school to be exact. We came to find out that a 14-year-old female that was a student at the school had been involved with another young man at the school. When that relationship ended, she began getting notes placed in a cubby that seemed to be what we now know as grooming type behavior. It appeared that the notes were from like an anonymous secret admirer or things of that nature, trying to establish a relationship with the young lady. Unfortunately, the young lady did become involved in what she thought was a healthy relationship. In reality, the suspect was just abusing her sexually. It took her a while to come forward with the information, but when she did come forward, to a family member. That family member called us, and we were able to come in, and our child safe investigators did a great job of putting the case together. This weekend, we actually arrested Joseph Caballero for this charge of sexual assault of a child.
Was he picked up at the business or?
I believe it was picked up at his home.
And the assaults or whatnot happened at the business too?
Well, that I don't have specifics on where that occurred, but what I can tell you is it went on over the course of several months.
Sheriff, I know you said, part of the reason that you guys want to put this out there is because if there are any potential other victims, you want them to come forward.
Sure.
Doing a quick search just of the jiu-jitsu location that he is the owner of and works at, there's been people posting even as of 20 plus hours ago that they were still, he's still the coach, thank you coach, all this stuff. Are they aware of what's going on? Do we know if it's been closed down at this time?
Well, this is today is where we're putting the public on notice that this occurred. Although the arrest records are public information, as you well know, that's why we're hosting this presser today, in hopes that if there are other victims out there, please call us, 210-335-6000. It's possible, as long as this school's been in existence, it's possible there may be a victim that was victimized early on when this school first opened and hasn't had the courage to come forward yet for whatever reason. But again, that's why we're hosting this, in hopes that if there are other victims out there, somebody comes forward and gives us the information.
Do we have any idea if the school is still open considering the charge against him?
Well, my understanding is that at present the school is still open, and I would venture to say that this will probably put a damper on that. I can't say that breaks my heart that it puts a damper on business. That's not what we're doing this for. We're doing it in hopes that if there are other victims out there, somebody will come forward and give us the information.
Is there anything legally where they need to close it considering the charge against him, or?
Well, I don't know at this point if there's anything legally where they're going to be forced to close it, but certainly, if, and it's a lot of ifs because he's still got his due process to go through, but if he does end up getting convicted of this, it's possible that he'll be, he'll have to register. And obviously as part of that, there'll most likely be some stipulations in there that they can't have contact with young people. But as we know, there's always workarounds, and so we're putting this information out in hopes that if there are other victims, somebody will come forward.
And he's out on bond right now?
He's out on bond right now.
So what is being done to ensure that he isn't near any children or?
Well, at present, there's not much we can do to make sure that he's not around children. I haven't looked at the conditions of his bond, but I've never seen that being placed on part of somebody's bond from the part of a judge. But it's possible there may be bond conditions. With that being said, the reason we're putting this out there is that so if anybody says that's my child's martial arts school, I would say strongly consider not going back to that martial arts school.
¿Hay límite para víctimas si se pasó más de un año o algo?
¿Hay límite?
Sí.
No, para nosotros es posible que hay otras víctimas más allá, entonces quisiéramos que nos hablen.
Pero entonces, si estás hablando de una persona más años de un año.
Es posible que hay víctimas que no tienen varios años de ir a esta escuela, pero si alguien piensa que su hijo o su hija fueron víctimas en algunos años, otros años, nos pueden llamar.
¿Nos
Sure.
puede explicar un poquito cómo es eso del grooming type? ¿Cómo es? ¿Cómo funciona en este tipo
Sí,
de casos?
la actividad se llama grooming, en inglés le decimos grooming. Es un proceso donde muchas veces los sospechosos estos no empiezan al principio de ya abusar sexualmente a un niño o una niña. Ellos se toman su tiempo, les dan regalos, los llevan a lugares, les dan cosas para ganarse la confianza de los niños o las niñas, y luego ya después de eso, de ahí empiezan las relaciones sexuales. Es lo que pasó en este caso. Y pues también es posible que si hay otras víctimas que no llegaron a ese punto del abuso, si hay otra víctima que nos dice, mira, él muy frecuentemente me daba regalos o me llevaba a otros lugares, entonces de eso nosotros queremos saber.
Sheriff, unfortunately, this is not the first time we've heard of these charges being placed against a coach of some kind, whether it was here in Bexar County or outside of Bexar County.
Sure.
But what should parents and guardians, if there is anything to keep an eye out for to protect protect their child? Because I know things like jiu-jitsu and other camps and stuff,
Sure.
a lot of kids are going to these things. Right?
Sure, and look, I mean, you're right. It's not the first time that we've heard it, and unfortunately, it probably won't be the last. With that being said, we know that the vast majority of coaches and folks that are in athletics are in it for the right reasons because they want to help that next generation of athletes, and my hat's off to those people that are in it for the right reasons. But with that being said, there's also sometimes limited that a predator will find their way into those professions because those professions give them ready access to children. In that instance, that's where we use it as a reminder, to use it as an opportunity to remind the public, just be careful of who your kids are hanging out with. Although we know it's convenient to just drop them off at practice and I'll come back in 2 hours when you're done, you've really got to keep an eye on things. This is where it's important for you to be involved in who your kids are talking to, who they're involved with. In some instances, when we're talking about grooming behavior, if your young daughter all of a sudden shows up and her nails are manicured because somebody's clearly been taking her to get a manicure, that's where you want to start asking questions. If they start showing up with all of a sudden the newest model cell phone, you want to ask, where did you get that cell phone? Is somebody giving you these gifts? Is somebody taking you places? It's unfortunate that we've got to ask those questions, but it's in that time that we are not the most careful and observant parents that these predators strike, and all they need is that much of a window of opportunity to get themselves in there.
¿Cuál es el consejo para los padres ahorita en lo que está diciendo más o menos resumido en español?
No, pues la mayoría de las personas que trabajan con los deportes de los niños, ya sabemos que la mayoría son buena gente, que nomás quieren ayudar a los jóvenes a empezar en un deporte, pero ya sabemos que hay una población menor que ellos abusan de esa autoridad que ellos tienen con estos niños, ese acceso que tienen con estos niños. Entonces, para nosotros, por eso es importante dar estos consejos para los padres que tienen que tener cuidado con cualquier persona. Muchas veces estos sospechosos, hay señales que ya después de que salga la información, muchas veces los padres nos dicen, híjole, habían señales que alguien le estaba llevando para hacer las uñas, alguien le compró un teléfono celular, un nuevo, pero ya si uno como padre ve esos señales, entonces de eso tienes que empezar a hacer esas preguntas, porque también es posible que la persona que le está dando esos regalos es una persona que piensa empezar relaciones y abusar sexualmente de esa niña o niño.
¿Nos puede dar el nombre de la escuela?
Sí, es The Exception Squad. 6700 Culebra. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sheriff.